Hello and welcome to my morning report. I suppose it was on Friday the 16th of November with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Hantec Markets. We've got a bit of a dollar correction going on, at least against the G4 currencies, sterling, euro and the yen. And this is being seen, interestingly, as the yield curve continues to flatten in the States. Now, let me show you the spread between 2s, 64 basis points. That's just continues to fall away as the 2-year continues to climb strongly, and the 10-year sort of buzzes around. Now, we haven't really had a reaction yet, I say yet, to the news that the House of Representatives sort of pushed through the tax reform or their version of the tax reform fairly successfully, but that was always likely to be the case with the majority decent sized majority that the Republicans have in the House of Representatives. The Senate, however, is another issue entirely, and it is all still on a knife edge there, and the markets are still sort of basically focusing on that, and this continued flattening of the yield curve is having an impact certainly on the dollar, but also driving a bit of a safe haven move as well. You've got the yen, which is stronger, gold, which is stronger, and looking down here, the commodity currencies, the Aussie and the Kiwi, which are falling away. So there is an interesting move going on there. Interesting also that equity markets opened a little bit mixed. I mean, you had a strong close yesterday on Wall Street. S&P 500 back higher again, but Asian markets were fairly mixed overnight, mildly higher. But European markets have opened initially sort of mixed, but are now beginning to sort of drop back a little bit, and that is certainly an interesting indication there. I think markets are on a knife edge. I've got DAX as my chart of the day, which I'll talk you through in a bit. But yes, we are seeing some interesting moves today. Now we've got a little bit of data this afternoon, but nothing really is all that significant. So it'll be interesting to see how the US really sort of forms this, as the US session comes online, how that formulates the session into the afternoon. Now we've got building permits and housing starts for the states, 125, 119, slight improvements on last month. Canadian inflation could have an impact on the loonie, so watch out for that at 130, 1.4% expected on the year-on-year headline, down from 1.6. But much beyond that, that is pretty much it. Kansas City Fed manufacturing aside. So my chart of the day is the DAX. Now, this is an interesting move we've seen on the DAX. We saw that rally on, or the intraday rally, I should say, on Wednesday, followed by a jump yesterday, and it's down to this little trend lower now, and it's interesting that the market is just sort of beginning to consolidate around that trend lower. You've got this pivot, 13,095, that old high became sort of supportive to initial extent, but also then now is a basis of resistance, and you can see that on this hourly chart where you sort of got this level in at 13,095. You sort of rallied back towards that this morning and sort of dropped away again. Momentum indicators, look at that RSI. Yes, it's above 50, but sort of tailing off under 60. MACD lines tailing off under neutral. Stochastics already rolling over a touch. So this is something to be careful of, I think, this rally. Because if the market starts to track lower again, we could start to see the market gaining in momentum once more to the downside. I said earlier that there was a slight safe haven bias, or at least risk off sentiment coming through the markets, and that would be sort of reflected in the DAX falling away. So this is a key sort of near-term crossroads, I think, for the DAX. 13,095 needs to break out. You've got resistance overhead 13,095, 13,139 on the cash. 136 I think it is on the futures, but then there's also further resistance around 113, 195 area. But certainly this little rally hasn't yet broken a higher low, which is 13,136, which is why I'd be looking at that level of resistance as a key level near term, and sort of rolling over a touch. So we need to see it above 13,136 to really suggest that the bulls are in recovery mode of a sustainable nature, and as yet that has not been seen. So with that in mind, I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I will speak to you later. Thank you.